Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jennifer Sofield, and I'm president of the board of directors here at Jewish Family Service. It's my pleasure to welcome you to our Jewish Family Service annual meeting. Each year, the community is invited to this open meeting, at which time the board president and the agency's director comment on this past year's efforts. It's a tradition to honor people like yourselves who have made the agency a viable support system for so many. We will also be presenting awards to the volunteers of the year who are very deserving. At this time, we're doing things a little backwards this year because I'm emceeing and I have to give a speech, so I'm going to kind of roll into everything. At this time, I would normally call up the president, but being that I'm emceeing the meeting, I'm right here, so I'm just going to jump right into it. This year's report is going to be quite different than in previous years, and it certainly will not be your traditional president's message. Last June, when I took over the presidency, I expected a very smooth transition. Having been a repeater president, as well as working closely with Tom for so many years, I thought, piece of cake. How could it not be? Our agency was growing, our programs were flourishing, and we seemed to be in a wonderful financial state. Well, as we all know, that lasted 2 months. Our esteemed executive director of 39 years sat me down in September and gave his resignation and explained it was time to retire and pass the torch on to a new successor. I actually had no response, and I stared in disbelief and shed tears as I picked my jaw up off the floor. As happy as I wanted to be for Tom, I also knew I had a responsibility to my fellow board members, our clients indirectly, our donors, and our amazing staff. Reality soon hit after the oh my what now. And if any of you know me, I went into overdrive. As Peter said, I have a lot of energy. And that's my personality, and I quickly formed the most wonderful search committee. It was an exhausting, time-consuming, sometimes not easy task, but the committee worked tirelessly to bring you our new director, Russ Schultz. When we interviewed Russ multiple times, we unanimously knew this is our guy. He was the right fit for the agency and the perfect replacement to take over for Tom Beck. He is bringing energy and enthusiasm to Jewish Family Service that we need to succeed and grow. Rather than list our donations, that's the typical president's report, or what grants we received this year, I stand in front of you all to be transparent, and I will not sugarcoat anything because that is not what you deserve. Oh, that is what you all deserve. Sorry, I read it wrong. I'm sure you've all heard some type of rumor regarding the agency, and I will clear those up. JFS is not closing its doors, nor have there been any thefts within the agency. Unfortunately, we needed to make some cuts to staff due to grants not being renewed. Let me be very, very clear. Although we have made some cuts to staff, absolutely none of our services have been cut. Our clients are still receiving the best care from this incredible agency. When I was president back in 2010, I had no idea what I was in store for then either. I came in at a time where we were suffering a severe economic crisis, and with the work of our board, staff, and donors, we pushed through and we rebuilt into a $9 million agency. This is our time now, once again, to come back as a bigger and better Jewish Family Service. Our board, staff, and our donors are fully committed to rebuilding our organization under the leadership and guidance of our new executive director, Russ. I'm not going to use the last name. His vision, his integrity, and his commitment to is exactly what our agency needs. Thank you all for being a part of what's to come. It's with great pleasure and excitement that I introduce to you all our new executive director, Russ Schultz, who will give the president's annual report. Now you can clap.
Thank you, Jen. Hello, everyone. As you heard, this is my first annual report, and I'm really excited to be here my first annual meeting here. It's such a pleasure to see everyone here. Thank you for the amazing cakes outside, and I hope everyone really is able to enjoy that. To start, I would like to start by recognizing our leader and board chair, who is never bored, Jen, who is in her second, as we heard, non-consecutive term. She truly sacrifices her time and sometimes her mental health for the agency. I'd also like to thank and recognize so many of the JFS board members here tonight, who are our thought partners and friends, along with the agency's past presidents, who are also many of our board members, who continue to influence and steward our agency with love, compassion, and care. I'd also like to recognize, as I look around the room, many of our steadfast staff, many of whom are here tonight, and how much we appreciate all that you do as well. Some of you know that in one of my previous responsibilities, I was a comparative religion adjunct professor. And in that role, I was able to be the token Jew. What that means is that I would teach classes, but many of the other professors, let them be Buddhist, Hindu, or Christian, would call me in and say, I have a section on Judaism, and I would love for you to jump in and be that authentic voice for the theology, for the philosophy, for the culture of Judaism. And of course, I would always be happy to oblige. I ended up speaking to thousands of students as this token Jew for many, many, many classes. And what happened without fail so many times is that there would be a student who comes up after the class is over, would sheepishly come and say, can I talk to you? And I'd say, of course, how can I help? Let's wait until everyone's gone. Everyone's gone. And then the student would say to me, I want to be honest with you. I just want to do what's good. I just want to do what's right in the world. But it's so hard to figure that out. In this religion class alone, we're hearing about Native American religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity. We hear about so many religions. And I'm not trying to figure out how, in these all millions of things, what to do. I just want someone to just tell me. And I'll do that which is good. I want you to think, what would you answer that person? In one of the famous Socratic dialogues, Euthyphro also wondered this exact question. What is good? What should be done? At that time, Euthyphro was prosecuting his father for murder. He understood for himself that that is something that was the right and just thing to do. I'm not saying I would do that, but he was trying to stand up for what was good. And in that dialogue, we're told that this is the root of how to figure out what is good and what is pious to do. In Jewish tradition, there's a very, very similar example, a similar question that's posed by the commentaries. In Genesis, it says multiple times after certain days of the creation that Vayhi Tov, and it was good. I think it's a phrase we've all heard many times, and it was good. And I would ask you, what does it mean to say it was good? It turns out the commentators have many different perspectives on what it means to be good. Rashi, the most famous commentator, says it means to be utilitarian. So, for example, when after the first day light was created, it says that on day one it was good. And Rashi explains that it was good because it served as a concrete, beneficial purpose. It had a function. How do you know what's good? It serves a purpose. Maimonides takes a different approach. He says it contributes to intellectual order. So goodness, in his view, is about structure and design. Each day of creation is good because it completes and organizes part of the overall system. In a third opinion, that of Zasordo, also a well-known commentator, he says that what does it mean to be good? When someone's fulfilling the purpose for which somebody is created. So I think this is a very fundamental question. One thing that the students wanted to know, one thing that Euthyphro wanted to know, and one thing I think that we want to know, how do we carry this out? How to be good? Is it like the first commentator said that good is about utility, or is about order and integrity, or is about living out one's purpose? In order to answer this question, I want to start by showing you a picture. This is a picture of one of our past clients, this is Nathan Wax. And I want to share part of his story to you. He was a Holocaust survivor of 7 concentration camps. Husband to Ava, parent, grandparent, and former client of ours until he passed away. Our staff cared for him. Not like he's a client, not like his friend, like his family. A JFS driver drove him to Passaic on Erev Shabbos to be with his family there. I don't know if anyone here has ever tried to drive in New Jersey on Friday. It's not a good thing to do. They drove him to doctors in Union County. They drove him to doctors in North Jersey. He received home health care from Debbie, who's here today. one of our social workers at the time, and visit him once a week. Renee, our nurse, visited him once a month. Rivka's daughter used to visit him. Heidi's daughter used to visit him. Every Shabbos, he called Renee and Debbie once he moved to Passaic. And when he could not see numbers on the phone any longer, they called him. Does that sound like a client? Or does that sound like family? Recently, the Lax family made a donation to us, and they set up the Nathan, Naftali, and Ava Lax Fund for Elder Care. Now it has $65,000 in it. And to pay it forward, for just like we were able to support their family, so too we can now support other families. When I think of Nathan, it's clear to me that he was not just a client. He was family. I recently visited Alan Simberloff. I think many of you know him. He lives in Hillside, which I think is that way. And he's 95 years old, former board member, very involved for many years. And I had such a great conversation with him because every single thing that I said, no matter what, he'd say, let me tell you what the most important agency around is. And I'd say, I think I know. He's like, no, it's JFS. And I said, that's what I was going to say. And he would say, let me tell you. And he'd go reason after reason. This is what happened 5 years ago. This is what happened 10 years ago. This is when I had this interaction. This is the amazing things that the agency does. And he went line by line, telling me story after story of what the agency does. As a 95-year-old, I think at least he could speak somewhat more objectively about the agency, maybe in comparison to Fred, who maybe has the only person to compete with him that length of time involved agency, but he had the experience to speak about the matter. When I reflected upon Ava's story, about Alan's story, and about Nathan's story, about what goodness is, I think I was able to come to a very clear conclusion. JFS is the Tov, is the good. Fighting food insecurity is the good. Our Shack Food Pantry is the good. Standing up and supporting our Holocaust survivors is the good. Fighting housing insecurity is the good. Creating volunteer opportunities is the good. Friendly visitor program is the good. Tom's vision for an agency for all-inclusive care. When someone, for example, is injured, we offer medical transportation, kosher Meals on Wheels food delivery, visit by a nurse, then a therapist, then a home health aide, then a housekeeper, then a caseworker. This is the good. I don't know how history evaluates all things in the past. I can't tell you that, I can tell you that when Lincoln was president, he was criticized for many things. That when he suspended habeas corpus. I can tell you that Truman was criticized for recognizing Israel immediately after its establishment. When you're sitting in history, it's not always easy to tell what the good is. In our politicized world, it's hard to evaluate and be clear about what you should do in any situation without rising to criticism. However, the one thing that I can tell you unambiguously, ubiquitously, universally, that no matter what you do, no matter what you say to someone else, that everyone can recognize that this is something that you're doing to change the world. Something you're doing in order to actually accomplish that good, according to any of those three commentators that I listed. When people support this agency, and when people realize that the good this agency is doing, there's no way that can be questioned. And I think in our world today, there's nothing that could be more important. To have a unifying force where we all can recognize this is something that we can all stand behind. With that, I invite everyone here today, and specifically, if you can raise your hand on 4 new board members who will be joining us. I thank you so much for joining the team. I'm so excited. We have an amazing team. We have, as I look around, we have people who literally do everything they can to make sure our building stays open, to make our food pantry function, have new floors, have new air conditioning. I look around, there's people who devote their time and their lives to this agency in ways that I could only look and do my best to show the highest gratitude I can. In the end, this agency is one, as Jen said, that God willing has been around for 113 years and will be around for many more than 113 years. And I'm just so excited to be not only the exec director of this agency now, but to be partners with everyone here. Thank you.
Thank you, Russ, for your report, kind of, sort of. So it was a little bit, everything's a little bit different this year for obvious reasons. But we wish you much success with the agency and for a long partnership with you as well. Now I would like to call up Ruth Margolin, the chair of our nominating committee. She will install our new and continuing board members.
Hello, things that are different this year. I think Howard Goldsmith has been doing this for ages, and
Lots of
you finally get to sit back in the fifth. So my role this evening is as the nominating committee chairperson, and it's to focus on the board of directors. So the board is comprised of community leaders who are tasked with ensuring that the agency functions according to its stated mission and meets its financial, ethical, professional, and social responsibilities in all that it does. It's important work, but it's very behind the scenes. So we'll start by being more visible. All the numerous projects and accomplishments that of our JFS are due to the extraordinary commitment and compassion of the entire staff and the noteworthy contributions of our wonderful volunteers. A little later in the program, we will enthusiastically recognize some of these distinguished volunteers whose efforts have greatly enhanced the services that our clients receive. In a group of volunteer stars, these few will shine just a little more brightly. And we're very eager to honor them this evening. And although they are not receiving awards tonight, I want to acknowledge all the outstanding members of our staff who individually and collectively are responsible for all that our JFS accomplishes. Our staff, from the social workers to the home health aides to the office administrators, are the heroes bringing healing and caring into so many lives. At the helm, we know it's been a year of transition, and this is never a simple thing, but we do certainly welcome our new executive director, Russ, who has jumped right in, as you heard, and is already making his mark. So now back behind the scenes. Our board of directors is comprised of devoted lay leaders representing a cross-section of some of the most talented and generous people in our community. I would first like to begin by recognizing our continuing slate of officers. Continuing in their roles, we have President Jennifer Sofield. Our first Vice President is Jerry Rothfleisch, who I saw somewhere. Vice President Ariel Traub. Our Treasurer Dan Raymer. Is Dan here?
Oh, yes.
Yep, there he is. And Assistant Treasurer Carol Karansky. And Secretary Donald Shapiro. Thank you to all of you. Your work on the executive committee is critical and wonderful. I also want to acknowledge now those members of our board who have come to the end of their 3-year term and have renewed their commitment and agreed to serve for an additional 3 years. We're grateful for their ongoing dedication and their valuable contributions, both past and yet to come. Ann Beckerman, Elise Deutsch, Mark Ginsberg, Eric Harvitt, Phyllis Reich, and Jerry Rothfleisch. Thank you all. Our board of directors thrives on the constant flow of new ideas, skills, and perspectives, and so we are delighted to present the following individuals as new members to our board of directors. Please rise as your name is called. We have Jody Sear, Jody Moskowitz, Lisa Slater, and Mark Stearman. These newest board members collectively represent many years of previous outstanding dedication to nonprofit boards, committees, and community life, along with impressive professional achievements. We are eager for them to learn more about the details of our work and our organization, and we look forward to having them contribute their ideas and talents to the benefit of our community. Thank you. They're not board members yet, though. It does require the vote of this auspiciously gathered membership community. So I now call for a vote of the gathered JFS membership to elect the aforementioned renewing and new board members to Jewish Family Service Board of Directors for a 3-year term. All in favor? All right, how about that? All opposed? All right. Thank you for your commitment, and congratulations to our new board members. Welcome to our board. With great respect and admiration, I'm also pleased to again include a mention of our honorary board, the community leaders and devoted friends who are even more in the background but are on our honorary board. Warren Eisenberg, Chester Feinberg, Harriet Goldman, Gordon Haas, Anatole Hiller, Alan Simberloff, Rose Turchin, and new to the honorary board, Joyce Weinstein. We are appreciative of their unwavering support and their many contributions to our board and agency. Also tonight, I want to recognize and thank those board members who have generously given of their time and expertise while serving on the board and who, for various reasons, are now stepping down. We wish them good health and much success as they move on to whatever the next chapter brings. Dan Kraus, Jean Rosner, and Janice Weinberg. And finally, we need to remember Roz Schwartzberg, who was a board member until her death last August at age 103, and Alan Kreitzman, a past president who died in February at age 86. We remember them both fondly and honor them for their diligence and devotion over many, many years. So once again, welcome to our newest board members, and thank you all.
Thank you, Ruth. And to all of my new fellow board members, welcome. You're coming in at a fantastic time for new ideas, new growth, and you won't be sorry that you joined this board. I'm 30 years in.
Wait, so it means you never get off the board.
Yeah. Well, no, I'll be on the honorary board soon. No worries, that's coming. Okay, now the moment we've also been waiting for is I would like to call on Danielle McClear, our Director of Community Engagement, and Debbie Rosenwine, the Director of Holocaust Services, to present this year's Volunteers of the Year Awards. It's been a long day. That's not I didn't do it this time.
Good evening, everyone. I am Danielle McClear, the Director of Outreach and Volunteers. I'm happy that I have Debbie joining me this evening. I feel incredibly fortunate to know and work alongside all three of our award recipients. Janet and Greta are devoted Cafe Europa volunteers whose warmth and presence bring comfort and joy to our gatherings. Debbie Neer, a dependable volunteer driver, ensures that our survivors receive their Cafe Europa lunches with care and consistency. It is a true pleasure to collaborate with such compassionate, kind, and committed individuals. These volunteers go beyond the expected. They take that extra step because they genuinely care about our survivors and believe in the mission. Their dedication makes a real difference, and we are truly grateful for all that you do. And Debbie?
Now, volunteer spotlight on Janet Jacobs. Janet, a former family caregiver, began attending Cafe Europa with her mother. Even then, as a participant, Janet was always lending a hand. Now, she's one of our most dedicated volunteers. Cafe Europa, our socialization program for Holocaust survivors, meets in a hybrid format twice a month. We know we can almost always count on Janet for her help and enthusiastic participation. The survivors truly enjoy interacting with her and look forward to seeing the warm, welcoming smile that she brings at every session. In addition to Cafe Europa, Janet volunteers in our food pantry all throughout the year. She's a valued volunteer and assists wherever needed. Janet's kindness, reliability, and generous spirit help our program run smoothly, and her presence makes a difference every single time. Please come up and accept your award.
Do you want to get a picture?
Okay, now, volunteer spotlight on Greta Polonica. Greta is one of our most reliable and compassionate Cafe Europa volunteers. As the daughter of Holocaust survivors, she brings a deep understanding, empathy, and connection to our community that is truly special. Fluent in Yiddish, Greta can communicate with many of our survivors in a language that brings them comfort and familiarity. Even before COVID, Greta was a frequent and dedicated volunteer at our gatherings, always ready to lend a hand. Greta's gentle expertise makes her an ideal guide for new volunteers. She's patient, warm, and knows just how to help others feel comfortable and confident in their roles. Our survivors deeply appreciate the time she spends with them and the genuine interest she takes in their stories and in their lives. In addition to volunteering with Cafe Europa, Greta is a valuable volunteer in our food pantry. Greta and Janet love to volunteer together in the food pantry, and we enjoy that as well. Greta lends a helping hand with every aspect in the pantry, from packing bags to restocking shelves. She's a valued volunteer and will do anything she can to lend a helping hand. We are so grateful for Greta's presence, leadership, and heart. She enriches Cafe Europa and the food pantry in countless ways. Greta, please come up and
Since the start of COVID, we've continued to support our community by delivering special Cafe Europa lunches to survivors who previously attended in person. Debbie is one of the volunteers we can always count on to help make that happen. Each delivery day, Debbie picks up meals from Rye Deli in Springfield and faithfully makes her designated deliveries. But Debbie does far more than drop off lunches. She brings compassion and attentiveness to every visit. She takes a genuine interest in our survivors' well-being, often reaching out with thoughtful concerns. On more than one occasion, she's alerted us to when a survivor might need extra assistance, such as help with hygiene or clothing. In addition to Cafe Europa, Debbie volunteers as part of our Reading Buddies program with Linden Public Schools. Debbie is dedicated, and the children in her classroom enjoy the time that she spends with them throughout the school year. Debbie also has assisted in our food pantry by organizing a recycled bag collection in Springfield, where she lives. And she drops them off at my house, which I'm appreciative of, but now I'm moving, so we'll have to find something else. We are deeply grateful for Debbie's insight and care. Her dedication allows us to respond quickly to our survivors' evolving needs and ensures that no one is overlooked. Debbie's partnership as a volunteer is an invaluable part of our caring community. Will you please come up and accept your award?
recognition portion of this evening, we want to express our deep gratitude for your unwavering commitment to our survivors, the food pantry, reading buddies, and the agency as a whole. Your dedication makes a tangible difference in the lives of those we serve, and your continued enthusiasm and support inspire us all. We are truly grateful for everything you do, and we look forward to the many ways we will continue working together to strengthen our community.
I would like to congratulate all the volunteers. We could not be who we are without you. So thank you for all that you do for our agency. We appreciate all of you. In closing, I would like to thank the staff and volunteers who have made this evening possible. It's been a wonderful evening celebrating our new and continuing board members and our volunteers of the year and seeing all of you. I look forward to serving you as president for one more year. Thank you for attending and your year-round support, and the meeting is now adjourned.